Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. So y'all, I'm going to upload this in the late evening, and I really believe that this is the time period of the day where I will be able to post most frequently and consistently. So I'm going to try to go with this time. Don't really, this general time. And so if you don't hear it at night, maybe we can just meet in the morning and you can listen to it when you wake up, wherever you are. So I appreciate you for listening and kind of shifting with me. All right, so in this reading, one of my decks that I used, first of all, I use 5 decks, and from every deck I pull only 4 cards. One of the decks I use is the Illuminati card game, literally like you can sit and play Monopoly. There's a card game, a deck that you can use, and every card has rules and images and, a specific type of energy. Now, this entire reading is about a media blitz. Media blitz comes from the Illuminati card game. I'm going to read this card to you. It says, play this card at any time to revive a group from the dead pile. It becomes uncontrolled. You are going through a media blitz. If somebody were looking at you, and I'll tell you exactly who, because they are looking. If somebody is looking at you, they are recognizing that you have been revived from the dead pile. Now, as quiet as is kept, you were never dead, okay? But for the onlookers, it looks like you have been brought back from the dead. But on top of that, you are uncontrolled. They don't know what to do with you, okay? Now, why is it that you have been brought back from the dead pile? Why is it that you are uncontrolled? My handmade card says, it is they who are receptacles for the flame of the Most High. And so you have been brought back from the dead pile, energetically speaking, because you are a receptacle, you are a receiver of the flame. And so this reading made me ask 2 questions to Google. The first question, I said, why are fires hard to put out? That was the first question, right? Because if this is a media blitz, and if you energetically, when somebody is looking at you, they're realizing you've been brought back from the dead, if that is true, and it's only true because of the flame, the Holy Spirit that you carry within you, well, why is it that they couldn't put you out? What is it that made them even think that you belonged in the dead pile? You know what I'm saying? I kind of wanted to understand. So in order to understand that, I knew that I needed to look into fire. So I asked 2 questions. Why are fires hard to put out? Second question I asked was, what is a fire that cannot be extinguished? And I was thinking and feeling about you based on what this reading is saying. So the fire triangle is the answer I got to the first question, okay? Why are fires hard to put out? Well, because the fire triangle, this is what sustains a fire. Triangle means there are 3 specific elements that can sustain a fire, making it very hard to put out. It is the heat, the fuel, and the oxygen. Now, spiritually speaking, what does heat represent, right? So what I'm about to describe spiritually about heat, fuel, and oxygen, I'm really describing about you. And what I'm saying about you is that you are hard to put out. You cannot be extinguished. Now, the heat element, that represents the warmth of the Holy Spirit. That is your inner passion for God. So the stronger your spirit, the hotter your heat. Next, you have fuel. Fuel is anything that provides you with energy, anything that gives you strength, okay? What is it that motivates you on this spiritual journey? What is it that doesn't allow you to step off of this path? It is the fuel, right? Something is sustaining you. Is it your faith? Is it your hope? Is it your prayer life? Is it your family, your children? What is it that continues to fuel you to keep going again and again, right? One of the aspects of why you cannot be put out. Finally, oxygen. That's the third part of the triangle. Oxygen is life itself. It is the connection to divine energy. And so the more connected you are to the Most High, the more air you have, right? Just imagine that if we could physically say it existed that way. But what I'm really talking about is your spiritual vitality. The higher you can go, it'll seem like you have wings. The more oxygen you can take in, the more that you can be filled with the Holy Spirit, the more provision you have access to, right? The stronger the battle, but the greater the grace, right? The bigger the favor. And so it comes, duality is real. There's a lot you get, but there's also a lot that you got to carry. So the oxygen, the fuel, and the heat, spiritually speaking, is what doesn't allow you to be put out. And so you have been brought back from the dead for those 3 reasons. Now, second question I asked, what is a fire that cannot be extinguished? Like literally on earth, are there fires that cannot be extinguished? Any fire that you cannot put out, it is going to occur that way because the fire is self-generating, meaning it is giving itself its own fuel. The fire is getting the oxygen from itself. It's feeding itself. You do that, right? Your heat, your fuel, and your oxygen, you eat it, consume it, digest it, you regurgitate it. You are a system. You are a system, a spiritual system. Now, on earth, I learned this when I was 9 years old. Now, there could be more, but I learned about 2. The first is called an underground coal seam fire in Centralia, Pennsylvania. That is a type of fire that cannot be extinguished. The next is called the Gates of Hell. This is in Turkmenistan, and it says that this is burned for decades due to a continuous natural gas leak. So there are places and pockets of earth where fires have burned for as long as we have lived. And that is similar to the spirit that has burned in you. It has burned beyond this lifetime. It has burned before this existence. But it cannot be extinguished because of who it comes from, because of who you are attached to. And so right now, it looks like you are Lazarus. You are raised from the dead. This entire reading is about a media blitz, right? And the problem is that anybody that wants to extinguish you, you possess your own fuel. You are the maker and the keeper of your own element. Do you know how powerful that is? When you can just self-generate again and again and again. I mean, it's power, but it's controlled, which means you got to be trusted to carry it. And so literally a miracle walking is what it appears you are, raised back from the dead pile. Okay? Now, because this exists, there is a fork in a road. So even for you, maybe for those watching you, this reading says that when you enter back into this space, whatever the space is for you, there is a fork in a road. You will not see any signpost. You will not see any maps. Whatever path you choose, all you have to do is let go of the fear of failure. The path you choose matters not. It is the energy that you take onto that path with you. Okay? So, wherever you go, know that you chose that because you are needed. That's all you got to know. I chose this because I know I'm needed. And whatever you choose, be at peace with it. Because any energy outside of peace is going to fuck up the next. Right? So if you have come back from the dead in any kind of way, it is because of what the spirit that burns in you. But you also got a job to do. And there are no signs, no indicators, no nothing. Just the spirit in you to choose and to trust what you choose. That's what this reading is telling you and asking you, but you got onlookers, okay? There's one more thing I got to say. When you choose, this is really like you versus you. This is your higher self versus your shadow self. And you're essentially saying, listen, shadow, whatever you want to stop me with, it's not going to work this time, right? I'm facing my fears. I'm ready for change. And guess what? Everything changes. So we might as well just change. And so anything that makes you resist the process of change, it really is not about the choice to choose the right thing or the wrong thing. It's about just being willing to change. At the core, the shadow is resisting change. Okay? But the opportunity to change is actually an award. So see it as a reward and as an award. I got twisted up, okay? And so if you choose to accept change, no matter what it is, recognize that the world is at your fingertips. There will be movement, there will be travel, there will be growth and expansion. Now, somebody is watching this happen in your life, and we already know because of what is inside of you that they are witnessing this. Now, the media blitz is what describes you. The other three cards from the Illuminati deck are hackers, morticians, and nuclear power companies. So I'm like, okay, I'll read this literally. The hackers, hackers, they hacked the dead. When I saw morticians, like literally speaking, a mortician is a person whose job it is to prepare dead people to be buried, right? They arrange and manage funerals. And so a hacker is supposed to be a type of person that is going to use a computer specifically. It doesn't have to be a computer, but they use computers to gain unauthorized access to data. So hacked a mortician. And so I'm like, were you on paper? Literally, was there some type of system, computer system, unauthorized that had specific data? That system is hacked, and that system says you're dead. And so this is about a media blitz, because you are literally leaving the dead pile that you probably didn't even know you were in. Now that could have literally have happened, like somebody uses a computer to change literally your life, okay? Next part, this could even spiritually be a hacker. A hacker can be anybody that is interrupting or breaching your own energy. Somebody has hacked your energy in some kind of way. And when they hacked you, it was to kind of prepare you spiritually, energetically for some type of, this is what makes me think of necromancy. A spiritual hacking that ends up with morticians. This is spiritually hacking you and preparing you for death. But you rise again. Y'all, this is what I thought about. Anybody familiar with double dutch, jumping rope, or stepping onto an escalator, whether you go up or down? You know how only the person that is about to jump in the double dutch rope, only the person that is about to take the step on the escalator really understands the exact moment in time when it is best to take that step. Like from everybody else, maybe they look like you're moving too fast, you're going to fall. Or maybe they be like, go, you're going so slow. Or like, jump already. But only you know the time that sits well in your soul. And so the problem is that when you were hacked with a specific energy, or literally physically on a system. You were hacked to make it look as if you were no longer here. Okay? Whatever the hacking did, you just hadn't jumped in the rope. You just hadn't jumped on the escalator. And so somebody thought it was successful, but you were just rating on the time. And sometimes the time to take the step on the escalator or the time to jump in the rope, sometimes it's a divine nudge, like you're waiting on the message. It's like, I just didn't get the message yet. I just wasn't told yet. And somebody thinks you're dead, but it's not time to jump in the rope. It's not time to step on the escalator. But what is the media blitz, though? I have a problem with the media blitz because who was the hacker? Who did the hacking? And what were they trying to hack? My handmade card says, the real you is not your current conditioned thoughts, responses, and impulses. And so there is a version of you where you were judged. You were judged for your current conditioned thoughts, your responses, and your impulses. Somebody looked at all of that and they judged you as being the real you. That real you, they then determined that it was broken and unworthy. So did somebody hack you because they felt like you wasn't shit, right? Or did somebody hack you in order to make it appear like you wasn't shit? You know what I'm saying? Either they thought you were less, so they did less to you, or they knew you were more and they wanted to make you less. Either one, being hacked, somebody had to breach your system energetically. But the problem is that the version, this is about duality, the version of you that they hacked didn't even exist. That was a judgment, an assessment that was more about them and less about you. Because the real you isn't unworthy or broken. Sometimes you're going through things, and sometimes people really want that version of you that's going through some things to be who you are because it makes them feel better about who they are. And so can you just please be less so I can feel better about the fact that I'm less? Like, that's really what it is. But the hacking, though, somebody had to do something on a computer. The hacking is real. Like, I'm hearing keystrokes. The hacking is real. But it wasn't really you. And so this reading says that when they hacked you, they were hacking your prosperity. Apparently, your prosperity comes by way of messages. I'm saying that you are open to messages, but the messages that you get are from the universe. The messages that you get are special deliveries from the divine, from the Most High. Whenever you get a message, that is the moment that you have been given a seed. That's your Ace of Pentacles. That's your seed in the ground. It's not always the season to put a seed in the ground. And so maybe somebody thought that they hacked you, but it wasn't time to jump in the rope. It wasn't time to step on the escalator. You had to wait. But while you were waiting, the way they assessed you, it was a broken version of you or an unworthy version of you per their thoughts of you. Not because that's who you are. That's who they said you are, because that's who they are. Right? So the next part of the reading, now we're at the Morticians. Morticians prepare people to be buried. So somebody hacks you to be buried. Energetically, they need you to live and then not live. But I already said that you cannot be put out. When somebody hacks you, it says that there is a page of coins attached to it. So remember how you wait to jump in the rope and step on the escalator because it's not always time to receive a seed. And you understand that I can't go, I can't move, I can't change, I can't shift until I get the seed. And before the Most High gives me the seed, I need to be in the right energy. I need to always be ready to go. I need to always be ready to jump or to step. I always have to be ready to plant, to harvest. I got to be ready for the process, even if the process isn't ready for me. Like, there's an energy that you have to wait in. And somebody misjudged that. Somebody couldn't see that you were waiting in that type of posture. And they thought they got you. And so the mortician on the back end is attached to a page of coins, hacking you and preparing you for death, whether energetically or in real life, in the physical world. When somebody did this, this was a new business. Y'all, in this deck, the page of coins means new income streams. Is this somebody's side hustle? Switching up shit on computers, making it appear as people are one way? Or kind of getting them ready on paper for what's really prepared for them in the spirit? So, whatever this opportunity was, whatever this mortician was, this hacking, somebody has been confirmed that it was unsuccessful. Hence the media blitz. You were no longer in the dead pile. And so this is a moment where somebody has to learn. But this is one of those lessons that you never knew, that you didn't even know you were in this class. You were shocked that you even signed up for this class. Your shadow did. Right? Because this is a shadow. You get to see your darkness. This is you, the hacker. hacking morticians, whatever that means, whatever that means. Do you pay people off? Do you change autopsies? Like, what do you do? What does this mean to hack a mortician? Okay, anyway, the final card from the Illuminati deck says nuclear power company. Isn't that wild? Hackers, morticians, nuclear power company. That sounds like it escalated quickly. You know what I'm saying? Nuclear power company. Spiritually speaking, I wanted to know what this means. This talks about dual potential. This plan could have been a profound creation, or it can be a catastrophic destruction. Meaning, like, there is a fine line between getting this shit right and getting this shit wrong. Like, it could go either way. But because you cannot be put out, because you are fire that feeds itself, because of the 3 elements that sustain you, spiritually speaking, it was always going to go one way. And so this is the class that they did. Somebody signed up for the nuclear power company class, right? All right, y'all. So let me read this handmade card to you. It says emotional flooding. When we have complex trauma, we have many false alarms. When we go into reactive state, we can become flooded with intense thoughts and overwhelming emotions, resulting in moments of high reactivity. And so something about your energy is like a trigger. And so what I'm understanding is that sometimes when they hack you or prepare you for death, it is almost like they want to create. Can you imagine working at a job site? Like, imagine you're working in like a factory setting, and every single day, multiple times a day, the fire alarm goes off. Well, at some point, that alarm is kind of training you to wait for it and then to respond to it. And so one of the ways that you may have been hacked energetically is to cause false alarms emotionally for you. When a false alarm, when somebody tugs on your heart, right? We got the Ace of Cups that comes out with nuclear power companies. When somebody tugs on your heart, but in a way that causes emotional flooding. You're at work, you were in the process of love, you were feeling joy, you were pleasant, you were at peace, you were in a state of balance, whatever this is. I feel good here, I'm comfortable. And all of a sudden somebody pulls the alarm, and it absolutely interrupts that divine love flow that you were once feeling. But this says that this happens on purpose. Why is that? It's because of the energy that flows out of you. It is equivalent to like a nuclear power company. The energy itself leads to profound creations. But duality says catastrophic destruction. Like you were the beginning and the end energetically. And so plugging into you maybe requires to kind of prepare you for death and kind of to keep you in some type of dormant state. And then whenever they're ready to use you, they trigger the alarm, you bleed out. Sadness, grief, pain, anger, they turn it off. They trigger the alarm, you bleed out, and you just kind of become like this cash cow, energetically speaking. Now, underneath the Ace of Cups, I get solitude. The solitude card says that you learn this about yourself and you learn this about your energy. That something about the way you were responding, something about the way that you were reacting, it wasn't really organically you. It was just a result of who you had to become based on what you had to go through. But then it also becomes a mechanism or a tool that is used against you by those that understand the purity and the rawness of your energy. If somebody knows things about you that you don't know, they will be able to turn you on and off in ways that benefit them. And for a period of time, when you were hacked, you were a benefit to somebody, but you just didn't jump in the rope. You just didn't step on the elevator. And so what happens once you step on that escalator? What happens once you jump in the rope? Whoever's plugged onto you doesn't have to jump or step at the same time you do. And so this is about you coming back from the dead pile, but you were never dead, right? It's impossible. This is your destiny. So in solitude, meaning you may have gone through hermit, you may have gone through isolation, but this is when you opened your own Akashic records, which literally means you get downloads, you get led. Read this book, buy these cards, buy these, get this, look for this class, watch this video, not because the whole video is important, but you just need to hear a 13-second clip because I want you to look up that location, because I want you to hear about this mineral. I want you to look for this vitamin, right? Like that is the record, line by line, one at a time. And you are literally just stringing together a whole tapestry of you. And this is what happened in solitude. You learned about your own energy. And you may have learned that the emotional flooding was used against you in order to feed a hacker. But in order to be hacked in this way, you emotionally had to be dead. You had to be prepared for death. That's heartbreak. That's grief. That's sorrow. But something about that allows others outside of you to create profoundly. Nonetheless, you are walking and moving in your destiny. And the way you respond to false alarms has totally shifted because you are reading your records, because you're living them, you're walking them, you're talking them, you're eating them. Whatever you're doing, you are them. All right, y'all. This is our reading. I'm going to edit this because there was like a gap where I was like, wait, what? And then I'm going to get this out to you. I hope that you had a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow night. Okay, bye-bye.